7 Vairgys gamers and finally able to clear it. Actually, that was something that I was gonna make my video about tomorrow. I saw this comment earlier. Where is this? Vairgrys, right? This guy right here. From a Vairgys player, the experience was very bad. After the merge with NE East, the groups aren't accepting people from Vairgys server, right? And I just saw this comment and I was like, man, I feel like I need to make a video about this because I've been talking about this in the past. I've talked about it in the past for Jumpstart server and it happened again with Vairgys. And I don't know why they decided to put SA characters on their own region. Like, what were they expecting? Were they expecting, like, something to be different from the last time when they did Jumpstart and, like, everybody from Jumpstart characters got, with Jumpstart characters got gatekept? Like, were they truly thinking that it was a good idea to put all the South American players on Vairgys so they could get a fucking stamp on the top of their head that says gatekeep me? Vairgys is one of most jails. It feels like there's always something with DCs that lags into death. I mean, I'm not going to say that, and I'm not in East, right? And I've never played with Vairgys players, so I don't know how they are as players, but I'm sure there's some people who are really good. It's kind of like what you guys were saying earlier, how you got into Vairgys lobby with, like, gamers, and you guys, like, actually cleared it really well. Like, I'm sure there's people who are good, and there's people who are bad from Vairgys, right? I'm sure that you probably have the same amount of bad experiences with Vairgys players as regular other server players. It's just that Vairgys players are like brand new and on the top of your mind that way. And like you have that like stigma on top of it. So it's like you're looking for the Vairgys player to like play bad, right? So I have no doubt that, again, I'm sure there are bad players in Vairgys, but there's also good players in Vairgys. Just like there's bad players in, I don't know, Lutera. And there's good players in Lutera. But, like, I really hate the fact that they went and made a separate server for South America people because they're just automatically getting gatekept more because of their server name, whether they're good or not. Yeah, exactly. You notice them more because they're from Vairgys. Like, you don't know, like, you have this preconceived notion that Vairgys players are bad, so you look out for them, right? And then the moment you see them in your lobby, you're like, oh shit, it's a Vairgys player. Like, they're probably gonna be bad, right? So you mean, and then if they're good, then you're like, okay, whatever. But if you're bad, then it's gonna stick in your mind. It's like how usually like when bad experiences stay in your mind more often than good experiences. It's like me as a streamer, right? One bad comment lingers in my mind a lot more than like 10 good comments. So it's kind of the same thing. What I've seen Vairgys players play together, usually there's 5 to 6 in one lobby. Well, that's because they're getting gatekept from other lobbies. The only, like, I'm sure there are probably Vairgys players who play together because of language barriers, right? So there's probably a good amount of Vairgys players that, like, don't want to play with any East players because they don't have to speak the language and don't want to deal with that, right? But I also think that there's probably another part where Vairgys players are making lobbies together because they're not getting accepted in other lobbies. And they probably see another Vairgys player. They're like, oh, shoot, this guy might be getting gatekept from a normal lobby. So I'm going to take this guy because I don't want him to get gatekept. What about you then? Do you find a lot of people who speak Cantonese on NA West? Well, I mean, I know how to speak English. But a lot of South American players aren't very good at English. I saw a lot of their characters with held titles on it, but they play like those who are rocking Beast Commander. But, I mean, I would also say that, and I was talking about this yesterday, I feel like, at least on NA West, I don't know how it is on NA East, but like 50% of Eclipse titlers are actually really bad because they bought their title. The Eclipse players at NA West, some of them are legit brain dead. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's like a NA West thing, but maybe it's also East. But the only reason why I say it's like probably West is because I know that Matt is a big busser, right? I'm sure they have big busters over there on East too, but like he's also a streamer, so it makes it like even more apparent. Eclipse yet, but I barely find any bad players with hell titles like Demon's Roar. ATD plays bad until there's a reason why it's called Addicted to the Floor and Demon's Floor. There's a reason why we have those we have those names for people, because a lot of those people are not very good either. On average, they're much better for sure, but I've yet to be impressed by Demon's Roar player. Again, I just think, like, at the end of the day, there's like a couple situations, right? There's a couple things that come into this problem. Yes, the title does mean something ish, but the problem is that you can get bust through it. Like Addicted to Delight and Demon's Roar, you can definitely get busted, aka about to ATD, right? So it's like there's a good number of people who buy the bus just because they like the title or like whatever, and like they don't actually play well. But also there's a number of people who don't buy the bus, but they just happen to get carried because they have good friends that play. So I'm not going to say all of them are bad, but I just really don't think, unfortunately, the titles are really something you could like consistently like be like, okay, this person's a good player. But yeah, I mean, back on the topic, right? I just think it's kind of ridiculous, and I wish they would have learned from their mistakes with the Jumpstart server to not make Vairgrys their own server. I think South America server should have been able to choose which server they wanted to go in, or either that, just put them all in an existing server, right? Kind of like how now Jumpstart servers have all like merged with other servers, and there's new servers now. So it's like even if you have a Brel Shaza player from West, it doesn't mean that they were a Jumpstart character. I think that they should have just done that. That way they wouldn't have the situation where Vairgys players are just constantly getting gatekept. Because again, I think that there are probably just as many bad players in Vairgys as there are in other servers, and just as many good players in Vairgys as other servers. Like there's gonna be good players in every server, bad player in every server is what it is. But the difference with Vairgys is that they have a stamp on their head that says gatekeep me versus other servers where it's like, well, they look like they're doing the right thing, and they kind of look like what they're doing, know what they're doing, so I'll accept them for now. It's just that with Vairgys, a lot of times you actually, what ends up happening is that you gatekeep them, so you never run with them, so you don't even give them a chance to show that they're actually a decent player. It does suck with the language barrier, though. I definitely understand that, and that is a thing, and that is a problem. But again, like somebody was saying earlier, like there's a lot of pinging and like things like that that could overcome the language barrier that isn't necessarily like, you know, a requirement for people to speak English. And also there are Vairgys players that know how to speak English. There definitely are. Want to keep language separate for world activities? What world activities would you need to know English, though? Like, what world activity do you need to communicate with each other for? Well, I did think, right? I had full expectation that they were going to do what they did right now and make them a separate server. I just wish that they didn't. Because they have the ability to merge servers. They've shown us before. They have the ability to put characters from two servers together. So it's not like a technology thing. Maybe what it is they're going to be selling, because they were selling server transfers in Korea, right? Maybe that's what they're banking on. They're like, well, all these Vairgys players, if they don't want to be stuck in Vairgys and get gatekept, buy a server transfer ticket. Let's fucking go. Like, maybe that's what they're going for. And if that's the case, that's fucking scummy as fuck. But at least it would make sense. But if it's not because of that, then I think they're just not learning from their mistakes. Would it necessarily be we already have our Worens out in the fucking chat, like, you know, whatever, right? Like, it's not like our servers have no people who don't speak the language. So, I don't know. It doesn't really, I don't know. I'm not sure if I think that that's the reason. Vairgys have another name for the mechs? Yeah, but, I mean, they're already interacting with us with their current server. So, it's not like putting them in a separate server versus the same server would have changed that. I just think that, again, it creates more problems than it solves. If it solves any problems. To be honest, I've seen a lot of Vairgys players rocking the Hell title, like almost 70% of them. I've never got those titles. I'm sure there was just a lot of bussing down in Vairgys. Who knows?